What is up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to the Jordan Davis Podcast. I am your host, Jordan Davis. And on today's episode, we got a new trailer to discuss today. Yes, we do. It's the new Venom trailer. Venom 2, There Will Be Carnage. It released this morning around 6 a.m., which I did not watch at 6 a.m. because that ain't me. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. I'm not gonna wake up that early. Maybe for, No Way Home, but I watched it anyway. So I'm here to give you my thoughts, and actually I'm gonna kind of discuss the Easter eggs that we found in the trailer. Some interesting, I don't know if it connects to the MCU, but it's very interesting what they're kind of setting up here without, really make it pretty obvious. So basically, Easter eggs, and that's what they should be. And so that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about, well, eventually Venom, Sony's Venom character. I don't know if the MCU is going to have a separate Venom character, but I'm talking about Sony's Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom. Is he eventually going to somehow, some way, going to cross over with the MCU's Spider-Man? Or are we just going to have Spider-Man and Venom just cross over without really mentioning at all in the MCU? So we're going to discuss that today on today's episode of Jordan Davis Podcast. And if you're new here today, I thank you for watching this new episode. And just something about me. I like to discuss all kinds of movies, trailers, speculation, anything about big blockbusters, about movies to come in the future. So if you like talking about, just movies, DC movies, Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, you get it all on this channel right here. So make sure you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and also comment and hit the notification bell at the bottom so you know videos like this when they come out. So make sure you do that, and I cannot wait to hear from you in the comment section. So since we got that out of the way, let's get into the episode. So like I said, I watched the trailer today, and if I was going to give you my opinion on the trailer, it was good. It was a good first trailer. It was pretty much the same vibe, the same spirit of what the first Venom movie was. And if you saw that, that's the kind of movie that it's an acquired taste, if you will. Looking back on the first Venom movie, I liked it. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. It did have some flaws. Before what they were trying to do in their take on this Venom, kind of being like a lethal protector kind of thing instead of a villain, I think it did pretty good. And I was excited where they were going to lead. And I wasn't expecting something like groundbreaking, like to break the mold of superhero movies. No, it was a fun, entertaining movie, which I'm excited to see a sequel of. And that they tease Carnage. And if you don't know what Carnage is it's pretty much Marvel's version of the Joker. And if you know, Batman and all that, for Marvel, Carnage is pretty much all destruction, chaos, and Carnage. and so that's pretty much Marvel's Joker. And even though SpiderMan is not going to be, well, I don't know if he's not going to be in it, but I pretty much assume he's not going to be in it. But they did like a series in the comics that Venom was kind of an anti-hero. He was kind of like not really good guy, but not a bad guy. He was down the middle, like Wolverine. But Carnage was kind of like his villain, his Venom's villain, and so because there was a run called Maximum Carnage, and you really see fights between Venom and Carnage because in the comics, Venom, kind of births Carnage. It comes from him. So I'm not sure if they're going to do that. Could be something totally separate. But to go deep dive into it, that's how it is in the comics. That's just a rough overview of it. I'm sure more educated people about Venom and Carnage would know more about it. But going off to this trailer, they're really hitting off the humor, because I think that's one of the things that sold this movie, was the humor of Venom, kind of Eddie Brock and the symbiote, kind of sharing one body. You know what I'm saying? And it's It was funny, and I loved it, how they did in the first movie, and what they showed in the trailer, kind of really showing the day-to-day what it's like now with Eddie Brock and Venom. Like, they're making breakfast. Venom is making breakfast for Eddie Brock, and Venom is like cooking and he's singing. It's like it's like an episode of The Odd Couple. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty funny, and they're really going into that silliness of what they were in the first one, and I like that. I think at times when they took it too seriously, it just didn't fit because of the silliness. Because you really have to balance it out, really. And what they were doing in this trailer, and what they are teasing in this trailer, it was really good. And I think that's what you have to do, the balance, right? The balance. If you're going to do that humor, even though they show in the trailer Venom is still biting off heads like no one's business, and if you're going to show that humor, you're going to have to show, the creepiness and the ultimate chaos and biting off heads and this complete horror of what Carnage is. And so if you're going to do that, you're going to have a balance of that. And it's going to be very interesting in how they do that. And I think that's one of the things I'm interested in Venom 2, is like, how are they going to walk that tight rope of given a silliness of what Venom and Eddie Brock is, kind of an odd couple kind of thing. Then we transfer to Carnage, and he's just raising hell and just, bringing chaos wherever he goes. And so I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to do, because if it tips over one way, it's too much. Because if you go too much silly, it gets tiring. And if you go too serious, it just becomes stupid. Because you gotta walk both lines. You can't walk one and forget the other. So, I really liked, for our first trailer to give us a really good hint of what this movie could become. It's a good start. It did not blow my socks off, and it was basically a good teaser trailer. I wouldn't call it a teaser trailer. I guess it was over 2 minutes, so I don't think that's really teasing anything. But it was a good trailer. because we've been waiting for this movie for a very long time. It was supposed to come out last year. Heck, it was supposed to come out this June. I mean, the COVID delays have just been, really destroying this hype for Venom 2. But hopefully, they start, putting out this trailer, see Carnage, all his chaos, because everyone wants to see Carnage on the big screen. They want to see a Venom, and they want to see a Carnage fight. It has to be crazy, it has to be bombastic, and I think that's what it's going to be in Venom 2. And so, I think even with Andy Serkis directing this movie, he's the person that played Gollum in Lord of the Rings. So he knows a bit about, CGI performances and mocap performances. So I'm very interested in how he's going to play with that and how he's going to balance these tones in the movie. So I'm really interested. Yeah, so really on the movie itself, from what I can say about the trailer, I was really excited. That was a good trailer. I'm really excited to see this movie. It's supposed to come out in September. And so we'll see what it has for us, because there's some Easter eggs in there. The Daily Bugle from from SpiderMan comics, and even looks like the Daily, the sign looks like the Daily Bugle from the original Sam Raimi movies and Spider-Man. So, you never know what Sony is trying to tell us. Does this take place after No Way Home? The director said it doesn't. Who knows, really? It could just be part of the multiverse. It's like, here's an Earth that only has its symbiote and no other heroes. Or maybe there is a Spider-Man in this Venom universe. This is Venom and everyone else doesn't know anything about it because it's already in San Francisco, not in New York. And so I'm very interested to see what they're going to do. Especially since No Way Home is going to be a multiverse movie. It's going to be a Spider-Verse movie. It's going to have 3 Spider-Man in that movie with Tobey and Andrew. So we're going to see what they have up their sleeve and how this all connects with everything. So yeah, that should be very interesting. Now, do I think eventually this character, this version of Venom, will be in the MCU? That's a tough one, but I think eventually I think this Venom will be. Some way, somehow, maybe Doctor Strange does some crazy stuff, and somehow it's connected. I don't know. And I think because obviously the Sony and Marvel relationship is pretty much getting better and better the more and more we hear about it. It's pretty much, those are the only studios that are willing to work with each other because they're pretty much married to each other. Because one cannot buy out the other, because if they try to buy out Sony, they're going to raise the price too high, and Disney does not want to do that. And so they realize, okay, the only way that Marvel can have the character in their movies is if we work and have a good relationship, a good working relationship, and I think that's what they're doing. And if that is bringing Venom into the MCU some way, somehow, to keep Spider-Man in the MCU, because I truly believe Spider-Man's going to be in 2, 3, 4 Avengers movies down the road. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be the case where I think you're going to see you could possibly see Sony's Venom in the MCU. I think that's a good possibility right now everything's a possibility with Sony and Marvel and Hollywood right now. I mean, you never thought we would see Spider-Man in the MCU, right? You never thought Disney would buy Fox, but they did. And you never thought we would finally get a Fantastic Four in the MCU. But here we are. And just going off of that, anything is truly possible. If it makes money, Hollywood people will do it. So, at the end of the day, I truly think, however it happens, however the crossover happens, Spider-Man will eventually crossovers with Venom, and if it's a big success, I have no doubt that I was like, hey, let's put this Venom in the MCU somehow. So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Maybe not right now, but maybe like a couple years down the line. I just wouldn't be shocked if Kevin Feige announced, or Marvel Studios announced that Venom will be in the Spider-Man movie from the Sonyverse. So yeah, that's what I think. So closing thoughts, I thought the trailer was pretty good. I'm excited to see Carnage and more of this movie. And with the whole, Venom going to be in the MCU anytime soon, I think it will be. And I think we just have to wait a couple years or so, wait and see after, No Way Home and after Multiverse of Madness. And, I just think we just have to wait because it's eventually going to happen. So those are my closing thoughts. Those are my thoughts about the Venom trailer. Those are my thoughts about if Venom is going to be in the MCU. But I want to know what you think. What did you think about the Venom trailer? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you excited to see this movie around in September? And I would really love to know your thoughts about the whole thing, and maybe even Venom being in the MCU. I would love to hear your thoughts about that too. So yeah, make sure to write in the comments so we can discuss it, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you like this video, and especially if you want to know when more videos come out like this. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the episode. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have an awesome week and an awesome day. So, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.